Super Street the game. Game modes, time to have your say. Yes, welcome back to the channel, fellas. Welcome back to the channel, fellas. So, it's been a couple of days now since I dropped the specially crafted physics demo by the guys over at Super Street the game. Reading through the comments, it's been really great to see the positive feedback that you guys have been giving. My whole objective of that video wasn't to brainwash any of you guys. It wasn't to trick anyone or try to sway anyone's opinion. The reason why I shared a portion of that confidential email between myself and the developers of Super Street the game was so that you could gain a better insight and have better context as to what this game is actually about, the direction they're aiming for, and the reasons as to why this game is not supposed to be put on a pedestal and compared to the likes of Forza Horizon series, The Crew, or even the latest Need for Speed game, Payback. The second and potentially more important reason was just to show you guys how open Super Street the game are to listening to what you guys want this game to be and how you want it to evolve over time. So if we look at the facts, they put out a trailer, right? And the original trailer was something which received a lot of criticism from many people, some of my fellow YouTubers and many of you guys, which is absolutely fine. Everyone's opinion is valid and should be respected. Now, this is nothing new. This is actually common practice nowadays. Whenever a trailer drops for a new game and people don't like it, they are going to smash the dislike button and they're obviously going to voice their concerns, their anger and frustrations in the comment section. Take the impending release of the new Battlefield as an example. That trailer got hammered. Now, usually when this happens, the developers, the games designers, the publishing company, they all see the media outcry and that's pretty much it. It's pretty much tough. Deal with it. What the guys over at Super Street decided to do was go and build a completely new trailer from the ground up, from scratch, basically showing all the parts that you guys were saying were missing from the original trailer. So, no CGI whatsoever, so that you get a better understanding of what you're getting from the game. A proper understanding of the physics, looking at rear-wheel drive cars, all-wheel drive cars, front-wheel drive cars, more in-depth examination and an expansive look at the customization from inside the garage, a deeper and more detailed look at the different types of environments on the map. These were a lot of the things that you guys were complaining about that weren't in the original trailer. Before we continue, I just want to take time out to ask you a question. When was the last time your favourite game from your favourite multi-million pound AAA development or publishing company acted in such a considerate, thoughtful and consumer friendly way? I don't remember any game under the Rockstar banner doing that. I don't remember any title under the EA or Ubisoft banner doing that either. You see, I've got no links whatsoever to EA and I've never been to Ghost Studios before, but a lot of people will tell you that Ghost is a very small development company. Okay, fair enough, but that does not change the fact they are still backed by a multi-million pound or multi-million dollar juggernaut known as EA. The money's there. It may not be distributed as evenly as it is to other more successful titles under the umbrella, but they are still bankrolled and backed by EA. The Crew obviously has Ubisoft, Forza has Microsoft. These guys over at Super Street the game do not have that kind of backing. They don't. They are a small team. They don't have major resources available. Their game is due to be released very soon. They're obviously still working on the game and yet they're still finding time to address the concerns that the community has and spending more time into making content based on what you've asked for. That's impressive. Only the most staunchest critic would deny that. But what's even more impressive to me, and this is just a personal thing, is the consistency here. You see, as I've mentioned before, if you've been following my channel for a while, you will know that I had the opportunity to interview these guys a couple of months ago. And during that interview, they clearly stated that they are open to listening to the community and they encourage the community to throw in suggestions, throw in feedback, give them an idea of what you would like to see from Super Street the game in the future. And this type of response to the feedback that you gave from the original trailer shows consistency. It shows that their words have substance. They are listening. So what we're going to do off the back of that is try to collaborate all of your suggestions into one area and make them theme specific based on the videos that I'm going to be putting out. So as mentioned earlier, to kick things off, I want to talk about Super Street the game's game modes or event types, if you will. So looking at the list confirmed so far, we've got a time trial mode, a circuit mode, a duel mode, sprint mode, arcade race, joyride, eliminator and cruising. Now, pretty much all of those game modes are self-explanatory in terms of what they entail. but I suppose the two most intriguing are number 1, Joyride, and number 2, Cruising. Now, considering one of the unique selling points that they've been pushing to the forefront of this game is the damage model and how breakable the cars are, and with no clues whatsoever given as to what this game mode may be, the only thing I can assume is that it's some sort of destruction derby type wreckfest, if you will, focusing on the breakability of the cars. Again, this is not being confirmed, this is me trying to piece bits and pieces together and make some sort of sense out of this. But I'm just thinking of the name, Joyride. I mean, over here in the UK, a joyrider is someone who's actually gone and stolen, or an urban youth who has gone and broken into someone else's car and just driven it around until the gas tank is empty. That's what a joyrider is in the UK. I don't know what term you guys use for it over in the States and Canada and Australia and places like that. I don't know, jot your thoughts down in the suggestions as to what you think this could be. Now, the second of these intriguing game modes is known as Cruising. Now, this is a very strange one for me because when I interviewed them a few months ago, they told me categorically there will be absolutely no free roam option in Super Street the game whatsoever, and that the game will be centrally focused around event types in different cities and different areas of the map, similar to like how Juice was laid out. Now, due to the nature of how Super Street the game is being marketed, due to the fact there is such an insane amount of customization in this game, and also due to the fact that the whole inspiration of this game is hailing from real life street car culture, with car meets being something which is prominent and integral to real life street car culture, I put out a video stating how I feel that this game more than any other needs an open world aspect. You spend all that time developing and building up your rust bucket into an absolute dream, a monster with ridiculous amounts of horsepower, stupid rear wings, dinner plates for splitters, custom wraps, rims upon rims upon rims. Look at the wheels, look at the wheels! A diffuser the size of a transformer's leg, and an exhaust pipe so big you could fit Nicki Minaj in it twice. I want to be able to cruise out into the streets and meet up with you guys watching this video and talk you through how I put this embarrassing mess together, whilst you no doubt yell abuse at me. But at the same token, I want to be able to see the designs that you guys have made. I want us to have car meets, I want to see your design, I want to see her design, I want to see his design. I want us to cruise around and meet up at parking lots and all that kind of stuff. I feel that this game needs that. It's not about just having an open world for the sake of it, it's about having an open world that makes sense, and I feel it makes sense, and I voiced it in that video. Fast forward a few weeks later, we now see the addition of this cruising mode. Not only that, but when the guys over at Super Street sent this footage over to me, they actually referred to it as an example, and I quote, of one of our free roaming environments. Now, a lot of you guys have put 2 and 2 together and suggested that maybe they did actually listen, respond and act upon my concept to be added to Super Street the game. I don't know, listen, who knows, maybe they had it planned all along and they were just hoodwinking me and pulling the... Oh, excuse me, Super Street the game development team, you better not have tricked me or lied to me, but who knows. I can't confirm whether or not this is a free roaming open world environment to the point whereby you've got the multiplayer aspect as well. It could just be something whereby you've got the ability to just drive around the streets on your lonesome testing out your new build. Nevertheless, it remains to be seen. In terms of my own suggestion, here's what I want to see. I want to see a fully fledged drag racing system implemented into the game. So what does this look like? Well, in majority of racing games, drag racing systems are quite straightforward, pitting just one car against another. Quite simple. What I want to see from Super Street the game is something whereby we have the enforcement of categories, just to make things a bit more interesting. So, from an engine perspective, I'd like to see inline 4 go up against inline 4, straight 6 versus straight 6, a Wankel rotary engine showdown, V8 battles, V12 battles, and of course a freestyle category whereby you can put any car up against any car regardless of engine type. I'd also like to see restrictions and qualification requirements related to horsepower. So for example, 300 brake horsepower, 500, 850 and maybe 1,000 plus. Now there's plenty of room for flexibility in this idea. You could be free to choose whatever type of engine you want as long as it qualifies for the given horsepower output per category, or on top of that we could make it even more restricted where you've got the horsepower restriction and the engine type restriction. So 400 brake horsepower V8 battle as an example, or 650 brake horsepower straight 6 showdown. I hope I'm starting to build a picture up in your imagination here. The reason why I think this would be a good idea is because if you've got people grouped into categories where their machinery is similar, it means that there's more emphasis on them having the correct tune and having the correct techniques in terms of timing of gear change. Basically, it means there'll be more skill involved rather than just relying on the fact that your car's more powerful than someone else's. I would also like to see powertrain related specific drag racing categories, so all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, how well can you control that wheel spin off the line, and of course front-wheel drive. And finally, what I'd also like to see is variation in distances. So 3 types of distances: an 1/8 of a mile, which is basically testing the acceleration, a 1/4 mile, which is basically testing the engine at full throttle, and a full-on half-mile drag battle, which is basically testing your car's endurance. How long do you dare to keep your foot down on the gas at maximum power before your engine blows out? And when it comes to online multiplayer, I'd like to see different types of competition, so head-to-head and also 4-way battles as well. I think 4-way battles would be really cool. So there you go guys, that's just my ideas, my suggestions for our proposed drag racing game mode for Super Street the game. Right, now here's where you play your part. In the comments section, what I want you to do is either A, choose to expand on this drag racing concept that I've thrown out, or even better than that, you come up with your own game mode, what you would like to see incorporated into Super Street the game. It doesn't have to be massively detailed, just a brief overview of what it entails, similar to what I've done in this video, and that'll be suffice. As always, keep it locked, subscribe if you're new for more Super Street the game information, news and gameplay, and I'll see you when the next video comes out. Take it easy, peace.